Monte Carlos, Monzas, Chevettes, Camaros, Citations, Blazers...
That is a testimony to the crowd in Rochester. Their team is 0-3. They have not scored a goal, and yet they still come out on a beautiful day here in Rochester.
Rochester has a rich history of soccer. They're ethnic-oriented, a lot of Italians, Ukrainians, Germans in this community, and of course they are into soccer. They're a very sophisticated group of fans. They know the game. You can't fool them, so if you're playing poorly, they'll let you know. If you're playing well, they'll also let you know. So it should be an interesting situation here because, as you had mentioned, they have about 15,000 in the building here now, and they're looking for their first win, so it's going to be a bit of a war.
Tony Glavin for the Philadelphia Fury, number 22, will be starting at one wing. He'll be joined on the other side by Joe Kokovic. Stevie Reed will be in the middle at striker, and the game last Wednesday night in Philadelphia at the Vet, a sloppy game in terms of the weather conditions, but the Fury came at Chicago and won it 1-0.
No question about that one. They deserve more than one. I think a penalty kick should have been awarded, which wasn't. But certainly the victory was a good one for the Fury. It gave them a little bit of momentum. They're a little bit psychologically better prepared now. They're ready to go. They're more confident.
They're holding a ceremony to the near sideline, and the ceremony is in memory. I'd love to tell you who that gentleman is, but I really don't know, in all honesty. But I can tell you the purpose of the ceremony. It's to retire the jersey of one Johnny Pedro, who played here in Rochester and was killed back in December, I believe. Was kicked in the head or something during a match. Maybe you can enlighten the audience.
It was in Portugal, in fact. I believe he was playing for Benfica. In Lisbon, and I don't know if he got kicked in the head, but certainly I think it was just a heart failure while running. He was injured, and he sat out 3 months, and then he came back into activity, and maybe not physically prepared, or maybe the heart wasn't ready to take all that strain, and consequently he just collapsed.
The kickoff to the Rochester Lancers. You will see a large light pole come into your picture right there to the left of your picture. That is something that is unavoidable, but Jack Simon, our director, I'm sure is going to work around it in the professional manner to which he's accustomed.
And so will Walt Chisowich. And Howard David, which you just did.
All right, the Rochester Lancers with the ball, far side of the park. Long ball down the right wing. Stoyanovich trying to catch up with it, but goes over the touchline. It'll be a throw-in for the Philadelphia Fury. First minute of play. Philadelphia Fury, Rochester Lancers here on Channel 17. We are delighted to have you with us. Bobby Rigby in goal today. Riggs very loose before the game. He said there's no question about it. That Wednesday victory really helped everybody. We just all seem to pick up after that. For the Philadelphia Fury, this is Kokovic.
Might add that the field might look good on television, but it is a bit bumpy, particularly in the middle where most of the play will occur, and you can see the ball taking bad hops, so the skill level must be more concentrated. Otherwise, you're going to have a lot of missed passes.
Bob Bossmeyer making his presence felt already as he comes up with it. This is Stevie Reed now, and it's touched back to the goalkeeper. Very dangerous play. Tony Glavin almost getting close to it, but Emmanuel Schwartz clears it out to the right side. To Damir Stutevsky. Comes to the middle of the park. This is Lukic. Now Stutevsky again along the right sideline. Bossmeyer with the tackle comes up with it. Nice play by Bossmeyer, and it's deflected away over the touchline. Bossmeyer with the throw-in for the Fury.
And you talk about tackling, that was a perfect tackle, and certainly the Dutch players are known for applying sliding tackles, and that's his game, and he just showed it to everybody. So all the youngsters watching in Philadelphia, that's the way it should be done.
Going to get a free kick coming up for Philadelphia as Tony Glavin was fouled from behind. Stutevsky is the one who was hit with the foul. And Andy Lynch coming up from his defensive position with a left-footed kick into the box. Tony Glavin with the deflection goes over the top.
Oh, and unlucky there for Tony Glavin because that should have been goal-bound, and Schwartz came out with a brilliant save. Tony took it on the full volley with his right foot and bent it around, and Schwartz was screened but still reacted and parried it over the bar. Here's the kick, a left-footed drive around between the 12 and the 6, and there's Tony Glavin, and off the shoulder, and a good opportunity.
Into the box is looking for Tony Glavin. Tony Glavin being triple teamed, turns around with the left foot. It is deflected out of the area and cleared by the Rochester Lancers. Lynch getting to it first and drops it to the back. To Salvamini. Eddie Coker now challenging Salvamini, and Salvamini wins it. Drops it back to Bobby Rigby.
And that's the most dangerous player for the Rochester Lancers, Adi Coker. He has fantastic speed, and they're going to utilize him as much as possible and see if he can outrace some people and score goals for Lancers.
Tony Glavin with some nice piece of stuff, trying to lay it ahead to Steve Reed. It goes to O'Brien. The shot and a save by Emmanuel Schwartz.
A great effort again, and a nice feed by Tony Glavin to Fran O'Brien, who left-footed it, and Schwartz was there again to save that one. And let's take a look at this one. Here it is. Here's Tony Glavin, a nice pass-through ball and left-footed drive first time, and Schwartz had to reach out for that one again. So two good opportunities for the Fury, and they are coming out with a lot of confidence.
Throw in for Salvamini to the near side, right by the 35-yard line. Takes it back to John Dempsey with a left thigh taped up. Salvamini has it taken away by Addy Coker. Jim Polahan now is it intercepted momentarily by Kolovis. Reacquired, though, by Polahan. Tackled away nicely by Vosmeyer, who is really making his presence felt in the early going as he comes to the 35. He's got Glavin on the left side, but it is intercepted nicely by Laszlo Harseni.
And this Rochester team is an experienced team. Their average age is about 28, 29. So they're just going to take the pace out a little bit, testing Philadelphia and slowing the play down a little bit and trying to use Coker, as we mentioned.
There's Addy Coker being challenged by Salvamini, crosses it into the area, and Bobby Rigby had to play with it all the way. The ball actually played him, but I was talking before, you see the skin part of that field? That could be a problem today.
No question about it. If it's not smooth, there it is. It definitely takes a bad bounce. It's like a shortstop chasing a ground ball, and Bobby had to react very quickly. He did so well and prevented a score.
Notice, though, his eyes never left the area. He kept his eyes on the ball all the way. Headed out of the area by Jim Polahan of Rochester. It'll be a throw-in for Philadelphia. You get a shot of part of the good crowd on hand here in Rochester at Holiday Stadium. Steve Reed chased down, however, by Harseni.
Harshani's playing as a sweeper, and then they have a young American boy whom they're experiencing in the middle with Dennis Mapin. He's going to do the stopping for them, and he's matched up with Stevie Reed.
We'll have a throw-in for the Fury. Salvamini to the near sideline. Inside the area, long throw into the box, looking for Dempsey, who's come forward from his defensive position, but it's taken away by the Rochester Lancers, almost reacquired, and here's Vosmeyer once again.
And you talk about class players, that's Bobby Vosmeyer. He showed everything that he's known about and capable of, and he's doing it this afternoon. Two beautiful sliding tackles, one good through ball to Fran O'Brien. He's dominating midfield.
With the score, Philadelphia nothing and Rochester nothing. We'll have more Soccer 80 in just a moment.
And the New England team win 3-0.
All right, lads, refreshments are on me.
Lipton iced tea.
Here you go, guys.
Cheers. Cheers. Nothing refreshes better than the good taste of Lipton iced tea. Magic. Guess it must be the quality teas they put in these flow-through bags.
That's jolly good. I guess we all like the taste of Lipton.
Of course. Why do you think they call us the tea men?
A professional goalkeeper makes a lot of great saves on the field. You can be a great saver, too, at Provident National Bank. Come on in and open a savings account at your nearest Provident office.
We have operators standing by at this very moment to take your ticket orders for upcoming Fury home games at 215-755-5400. And I mean that literally. There are operators standing by as I speak at 755-5400 for the long homestand for the Philadelphia Fury. 5 consecutive home games after today's road trip here in Rochester. No score in the game with 38:01 to play in the first half. Unofficial time, of course. Peter Johnson, the referee, keeping the official time on the field. Long ball by Polahan to the middle of the field. The wind a factor today, blowing from your left to your right as you're watching.
So the Fury has the wind, and they're attacking with the wind. The Lancers are going against the wind.
John Dempsey with the header to Tony Glavin to Franny O'Brien. O'Brien taken down by Tushka. And it'll be a free kick coming up for the Philadelphia Fury. Tushka committing the second foul of the game for Rochester.
It looks like Andy Lynch is going to put it into play. And again, Tony Glavin is matched up here with Hershani and sometimes Sutevsky. And again, he's a little bit outmatched because he's only about a 5'3", 5'4".
Very difficult shot and handled by Emmanuel Schwartz. That was a very, very tricky ball. It was laid up in the air, and Schwartz playing it safe. not knowing whether it would drop behind him, and you'll get a look at it on the replay wall.
Let's see it again, and then Andy Lynch again drives the ball into the box, and Stevie Reed this time flicks it on, and it's a wind that gives it sort of a top spin, and again Schwartz had to parry it over the crossbar.
So a corner kick coming up for the Philadelphia Fury. Kokovic into the box a little too far, chased down by Bobby Smith, but he was over the goal line. It'll be a goal kick coming up for Rochester.
And again, the wind was a factor here because he played it too tight to the 6, and then once you hang it up in the air, the wind takes it, and it's history, and which happened here. No one was able to handle that corner kick.
For our novice soccer watchers, you use the term to the 6. Elaborate on that, just for the uneducated.
The 6 is a goal area where the ball is being put into play, so it's actually 6 yards from the touchline or baseline, and that's we sometimes call the 6, or we call the goal kick area.
Bobby Rigby, a member of that Philadelphia Adams championship team of 1973. Long ball with the wind, almost headed forward by Reed as he tried to chase it down. Addy Coker taking control for Rochester, plays it off to Mepham. Mepham with the long ball to nobody in particular, goes over the goal line. It'll be a goal kick coming up for Philadelphia.
Mepham is the new member of this team, and Ray Klevecka, the head coach of the Lancers, claims that he's going to be a good one. He's got good size. He's about a 6'2.5", and he's got good speed, and he's very anxious to become a big-timer.
Salvamini with the kick. Comes out to the middle of the field. Ball goes through, but headed back by Polahan and controlled by the Rochester Lancers, Val Tuksha. This is Polahan. Squares it off to the right side to Statevsky. Statevsky up the right side, looking for Stojanovic coming in for the lead. Stojanovic and Rigby going for it, and Rigby wins it.
And well done by Bobby Rigby. He read that ball, and Stojanovic has a bit of speed, and Andy Lynch got a little bit caught up, and Stojanovic just blew by him, but Rigby read it, came out and won it.
The action is fast at both ends of the field, unlike you would find the game early on where most of the action would take place in the middle of the field. The action has taken place thus far at the ends.
Both midfields are showing a lot of good penetrating passing, and as a result of it, goal chances are being created, or at least shooting chances, so it makes for an exciting game.
Fury has had 2 legitimate scoring opportunities thus far, mainly because of this guy, Bob Vossmeyer, off the right side of his foot, looking for Kokovic coming through on the right side. Reed chasing down Mepham, but Mepham wins it. Mepham being taken on by Kolovis. Long ball up the middle of the park, and John Dempsey is there. The co-NASL defender of a year ago clears it out to the middle, but it's reacquired here by O'Brien and taken back again. Here's Franny O'Brien. Midfield, he stumbles, but Glavin.
Good stuff, Fran O'Brien. He fell and stumbled, lost balance, but still found Tony on the left side.
Nice stuff by Glavin as he tried to get it inside to O'Brien, who was coming through, and it was just a little bit behind him. Reacquired by Polahan of Rochester.
I'll tell you what, Howard, they're creating some kind of a pace, both teams. I hope they can hang in there for 90 minutes, but they're running full speed here.
Into the area and headed away by Salvamini, taken over by Tony Glavin, who seems to be all over the park. Joe Kokovic for the Fury has it deflected away by Strenicer, the center midfielder for the Rochester Lancers. We got a throw-in coming in for Philadelphia, going to our right. A throw-in here as Kolovis looking for the long throw-in down the right side to Reed, who backheels it, and it's taken away momentarily by Rochester and now taken away permanently by Rochester. Here's Addy Coker and Salvamini going head-to-head. Segota, who's handled it very little, being challenged by Bobby Smith, looking for Coker up the left side. Salvamini and Coker running for it, and it's cleared over the sideline to the near side. And we'll see what they are calling it. I thought they were calling it throw-in for Rochester. We'll see if that holds. We'll hold it right here.
They've changed it. I think the throw-in is going to be Philadelphia, and the people didn't like it. You heard all the boos. Now they're spotting it's going to be a free kick.
It's a free kick coming up. John Dempsey to take the free kick right here with the score. Philadelphia nothing and Rochester nothing. More Soccer 80 in just a moment.
The gas guzzler is no longer the American car. It's the American driver. Warming up your car too long wastes gasoline. So do Jackrabbit starts.
Could use a tune-up, sir.
Next time.
If everybody saved 1 gallon of gasoline a week per car, we'd reduce oil imports substantially. That's why Getty Oil wants to see the American gas guzzler become extinct. That way, we'll all get more miles for our money.
If you've been car shopping lately, you know how easy it is to spend a small fortune for a new car. Before you give up or give in, see your Toyota dealer. He has 12 different Toyotas with a manufacturer's suggested list price of under $5,000. Here's the new front-wheel drive Corolla Tercel, the lowest priced Toyota of all. It's priced under $4,000. Now there's a new car price you can live with. The idea is not to throw your money away. So, shouldn't you drive a Toyota?
Rochester has possession of the ball. Dusan Lukic to the right side on a bad ball, and it's intercepted by Vossmeyer, leading Tony Glavin up the park. Tony to the 35, comes inside, approaches the top of the box, fires a shot, and Emmanuel Schwartz reacting off the deflection.
And again, Emmanuel Schwartz was there to save a good effort by Tony Glavin. He went one-on-one against Harshani, used him for a screen, fired on, took a deflection, and almost scored.
There's Lukic, former Philadelphia Fury player, trying to lead it up, and John Dempsey is right there, reliable. Rochester's Tuksha to Lukic. Lukic up the right side, looking for Stojanovic, but it is intercepted by Andy Lynch. Lynch wanted a handball, Stojanovic wanted a handball called against Lynch, but it was not to be.
No chance there. He just took it away very cleanly and went into the attack. I'll tell you, a lot of intensity out there. I think both clubs are trying to prove something. Here's Eddie Fermani. He's standing up and saying, "What's going on, ref?" But they're going at each other. So far, the referee has done a super job handling the game, but good intensity. Both clubs are trying to win this one.
Vossmeyer in the middle of the field. Bobby Smith dummies it right behind him to John Dempsey. Dempsey with a long ball, looking for Glavin. Glavin and 22 Stutevsky going head-to-head. Real tough battle there. A lot of good individual battles going on, as a matter of fact. Rochester Stutevsky in the middle of the park. Number 11 on the left of your screen is Vossmeyer, the new Dutch product for the Philadelphia Fury. Into the area, Stojanovic looking for the shot, but it's cleared out of the area by Andy Lynch. Little bit of one-touch, two-touch played by the Rochester Lancers.
Good skill here, Howard, particularly at midfield there where the field is not as smooth as you would like to have it, but they're doing some one-touch stuff, which is very difficult to execute on an uneven field.
On the cross by Tuksha, and looking to try to head it in was Adi Kuker.
And a good effort by Dan Salvamini, who this time climbed over the shoulders of Coker and cleared it out of bounds.
The first quarter kick for the Rochester Lancers as the action concentrates around the goal. This is Adi Coker, number 8, one of the longtime veterans of the North American Soccer League, with the right foot into the box and cleared out of the area by John Dempsey. We'll get another quarter kick coming up.
And again, you can see Adi Coker, he's taking the ball and striking it with his left or right foot, but with in-swingers, which means he's hitting it against the wind, and that creates a knuckleball effect and could be miscued inside the danger area, which is the penalty area.
Stojanovic, who is good in the air, comes into the area, and it's cleared away by O'Brien, temporarily turning around, and Vossmeyer with the shot and a save by Rigby. Vossmeyer first made himself with an excellent play. You'll see the whole sequence as we show it to you on the replay. You look at Bobby Rigby.
Hey, I'll tell you, let's take a look at the whole thing. Here's a corner kick being taken by Coker. He drives it again into the box. Fran O'Brien clears it. Then it's blocked in here, left-footed by Sakota. Rebound, and Strenicer drives one with his left foot, and Rigby was there. A lot of good stuff by Bobby Rigby.
Down the other end of the park, Emmanuel Schwartz, the Rochester goalkeeper, against the wind, takes the long kick, kind of hangs up there, and Lynch heads it back into the attacking zone, chased down by Steve Reed. He tried to save it, but could not. It'll be a throw-in for Rochester. Time remaining in the first half, 28 minutes, 5 seconds. No score in the game. Rochester and the Philadelphia Fury here in Rochester. Vossmeyer on the intercept. Vossmeyer looking for the through ball. This is Tony Glavin inside the 35. Glavin lays it off, looking for Kokovic, but it was intercepted by the Rochester Lancers' Stutevsky. This is Stutevsky coming up the right side.
Stutevsky is a very capable wing back. He goes into the attack very frequently, and he's going to be a dangerous player for the Lancers.
Adi Coker. Nice stuff there by Rochester's Harsani, and it's deflected over the goal line, where it'll be a goal kick coming up for the Philadelphia Fury. No score of the game. Rochester and Philadelphia 0-0. More Soccer 80 in just a moment.
Don't worry, they just got lucky.
I'm sorry, I let us down.
Forget it. We'll beat them next week.
No, I really let us down.
Come on, how about a Michelob Light, huh?
Michelob makes a light beer?
Sure.
The rich, full-bodied taste of Michelob Light. Compare it to any beer you like.
This Michelob Light is great. Hey, you know what our real problem was today?
Yeah, you were terrible.
Michelob Light. Compare the taste to any beer you like.
Yeah. My Tex got more.
Yep.
My man got more.
Yeah.
My George got more.
Uh-huh. More close shaves per blade.
Super 2 Ultrex gives more close shaves than Track 2. Watch. One push pushes out soap and stubble. Your twin blades start clean, sharp for more close shaves. Ultrex slides on Track 2 razors, clicks on Atra. Get Ultrex for more close shaves.
Hey, more close shaves than Track 2.
Segota was hit with a yellow card while we were away for break for a little bit of a verbal exchange with the referee, and I guarantee he didn't ask him out to dinner. Here's Tony Glavine with some excellent stuff. Up in the air. Vossmeyer's in the box looking to deflect it back. Vossmeyer trying to do a little bit of a Shakespearean routine to fall down, try to get a penalty kick out of it, but he will learn in the NASL wars that they don't always give them to you.
They don't get him that often, but still, Bobby Vossmeyer showed that he can play with anybody and has demonstrated it so well this afternoon. It was a good acquisition by General Manager Tom Fleck, who worked very hard to get him. He had some difficulty in getting freed from the Lloyd's of London Insurance Company, but flew back home to Holland, got it sorted out, and he's playing for the Fury.
Franny O'Brien with a nice piece of work taking it away from Tuksha as he comes up the left side of the field to Kokovic. This is Kokovic at midfield, looking around to see what's going on. Gets away nicely. Nice piece of work as he gets away from Palahan. Kokovic inside the 35, trying to get it to his strong foot to the right side. Into the box to Reed, and it's headed out of there momentarily, reacquired by Vossmeyer, but cleared by Rochester. Fury almost had 2 goals earlier in this half. There's going to be a foul call, obviously, against Salvamini as he trips up Addy Coker.
There's the foul, which Dan Salvamini came up there late, and the fans love the approval because also he just got a yellow card. I don't know where he deserved a yellow, but he got one, and there it is. So we're even on yellow cards. Branko Segota, a young Canadian Olympic team player, and now Dan Salvamini, a U.S. Olympic team player, got one as well. Maybe the North American temperament is not suited for this game.
We have 25-27 to play in the first half. No score in the game. Holiday Stadium, Rochester, New York. Philadelphia Fury and the Rochester Lancers. Fury coming off the big 1-0 win over Chicago on Wednesday. Mike Stoyato. Come into town next Sunday. That's Mother's Day at 2 o'clock. In honor of Mother's Day, all ladies 18 years of age and older. I don't know any woman that's going to admit that she's over 18 anyway, but if you do admit that, you'll receive a gift certificate redeemable for 5% off your grocery bill at Thriftway Supermarkets, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. Coker with a shot goes right by.
And a bit of...
If a man does not keep pace with his companions, perhaps it is because he hears a different drummer.
Put it down.
Here's Coker with his rear hip pushing the ball forward, strikes it left-footed, and by the post. Bobby Rigby, however, had everything covered.
Very, very close. Addy Coker.
A very dangerous player. He has exceptional speed, and he's the one that we're going to have to look for to stop him from scoring.
Last year, while these 2 teams are tied at 2 wins apiece in the series, they split their 2 games. Again, I was talking about that Mother's Day special. We'll get into it as soon as we have more time for next Sunday. Stay right with us. All right, Franny O'Brien on the intercept to Vossmeyer. Vossmeyer, nice piece of stuff to Kolovas, coming to the middle of the field. Jimmy the Greek with space to the 35, looking for Kokovic on the other side. And winning it is Tuksha.
He's a very strong midfielder, Tuksha. He's about a 6'1", about 190, very powerful player, and he's going to be very difficult to ride off the ball, and as Joe Kokovic tried to do, but just didn't have enough strength.
Long ball by Bobby Rigby, headed down near the 35. Steve Reed playing off Mepham, and they're going to award the ball to Rochester. I was talking about the Mother's Day promotion next Sunday. 18 years of age or over ladies will receive a gift certificate redeemable for 5% off your grocery order at all Thriftway supermarkets in the Delaware Valley. And as a bonus, the first 3,000 ladies will receive a carnation courtesy of Allied Florist. On Mother's Day at halftime, the Weller Balsam cheerleaders shootout will take place, and the ladies will vie for a $25 prize from Weller. Should be an exciting afternoon next Sunday at the Vet on Mother's Day.
And I'll tell you, the 2,500 people that showed up Wednesday night Downpour, they deserve a Ladies and Father's Day and all kinds of day, because they were the heroes of the evening.
Fans Day is maybe the best way to acknowledge the 2,500 plus that came out to see the Fury win in that downpour in less than desirable conditions. No score in the game here in Rochester. Time remaining in the first half, 22-25. Both teams have had opportunities. Rochester's had the better of it in the last 5 or 6 minutes. Rigby with a nice piece of stuff as he gets to the ball first, but Riggs a little slow getting up, making sure Coker's gone by. I remember, as you take a look at the wind, and you'll see the wind blowing strongly from left to right, so the Fury has the advantage in this half. Rochester, of course, will have it in the second half. Tony Glavin has control at the 35. Glavin to Kokovic. Kokovic at the top of the box with the left-footed shot, trying to hook it around. It goes over the top. With no score in the game. 21-47 to play in the first half. More Soccer 80 in just a moment.
To save more on your total food bill, check Acme's newspaper ad this week. It's packed with terrific money-saving specials, plus 4 super-saving coupons. Redeem them and get a pound of Lancaster brand meat franks, 99 cents. A dozen ideal medium-sized grade A eggs for 49 cents. New onions, a 3-pound bag, 49 cents. And a 14-ounce bottle of Del Monte ketchup for 19 cents. Super saving coupons. One more way to save at Acme Super Saver.
Thanks, Tom. I remember when Tom used to spend his vacation repainting his home, until I told him how he could save time and money using MAB paints. MAB goes on easily, so it saves you time, and it lasts for years, so it saves you money. Now, thanks to MAB, Tom can spend his vacation traveling with his family. I feel good having satisfied customers. Of course, with MAB, it's hard not to have satisfied customers.
Shot on net was taken just as we came out of the break by Lukic.
And I'll tell you,
you'll get a look at it right here.
Let's take a look at it. Here's Bronco slipping the ball to Lukic, who unloads one, but right at Bobby Rigby, and he's there to stop that one again. And Dick Lukic would have been happy to score one against his all teammates.
Tell you one thing about Riggs, though. He doesn't fluster too easily. Played it very cool. And nice piece of work by Tony Glavin. Jeez, he works all over the park. Here's Steve Reed coming into the box. Reed trying to cross it, and it is deflected over the line. We'll get a corner kick coming up for the Philadelphia Fury, their second of the game.
Nice work by Stevie Reed, and he's played very well Wednesday against Chicago, so he's got a little bit more confidence. He scored a good goal, a winning goal, and he looks very active this afternoon.
Kokovic will take the corner kick for the Philadelphia Fury from that right corner.
You can't see that corner, Howard. Don't fool me.
That's what they have a monitor for.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's broadcasting course number 162.
I flunked that one.
Comes into the area and goes over the top. We'll have a goal kick coming up for the Rochester Lancers.
And funny enough, Howard, Kokovic took the corner from the opposite side some 5 minutes ago and hit it over the crossbar because of the wind, waved his hand, said, I got the wind now, and just now struck with his left foot the same way.
Rochester and Philadelphia, both teams suffering through some early season woes, but the Fury having the better of it with that victory over Chicago on Wednesday. Rochester looking not only to win a game, but to score a goal.
They're 0-for-3 and 0-for-0 on the scoreboard, which is could be intimidating psychologically to anybody. So they're pressuring, but they've taken some good shots, and Bobby Rigby was there to stop them.
Rochester's had the better of it here in the last 10 or 15 minutes of this half, and now the Lancers on the march. Tuksha, who's played very well, played off the ball nicely by Vossmeyer. Tuksha into the area, headed out of there by Bobby Smith. Nice defensive play by Trenton's Bobby Smith.
And it's interesting to see what the Lancers are doing here, Howard. They're sending up Hershani, the sweeper, into the attack as frequently as possible. So they're sending up more bodies than the Fury are, and as a result have more control of the ball.
Tukshaw had his blast deflected by Franny O'Brien, cleared out of there by Bobby Smith. Now Glavin with the long ball up the right side. Nice ball at Kokovic. Kokovic coming to the area. We got a 2-on-1 with Reed on the other side. Kokovic still has ball into the area, and it's almost saved by Reed.
And a good situation there because Tony Glavin slipped Joe Kokovic one-on-one, and he was going to goal, looked up to find Stevie Reed, and however didn't reach him because he put it on the floor, and Hershani was there to knock it out of bounds.
Just a reminder that we have operators standing by at Veterans Stadium at this very moment to take your ticket orders for upcoming Fury games at area code 215-755-5400. That's 215-755-5400. At Veterans Stadium, we do have operators standing by. A 5-game home swing coming up at Veterans Stadium. Be a part of that Philadelphia Fury crowd, and it's a great, young, aggressive team. Segota on the right side. He slips the tackle by Bobby Smith, and Dempsey clears it out of the area to Franny O'Brien. O'Brien tripped up by Addy Coker, and it'll be a free kick coming up for the Fury in their defensive third.
And surprisingly enough, they're still going at the same pace as at kickoff time. So they're both teams are fit, and they're doing some good physical work here at both ends. The field is not the best condition to play on, but still there's still a great number of well-played situations, and tactically they're both looking very good.
Tony Glavin, you wonder how, what he's eating for breakfast today.
Oh,
he
that
is
little
all
man.
over the place. We have 17 minutes to play in the first half. Unofficially, no score in the game. Callahan for Rochester, coming to the 35, taken on by Colovis, looking for Coker, and it goes over the goal line. So we'll have a goal kick coming up for the Philadelphia Fury with no score in the game. I mentioned that 5-game home swing in addition to Mother's Day game next Sunday against the Tampa Bay Rowdies on Wednesday night, May 14th at 7:30. The defending NASL champion Vancouver Whitecaps make their first ever Philadelphia visit. Caps led by former Fury captains Alan Ball and David Robb. And you can get a free ticket by bringing a wrapper from Fury Soccer Franks to the Fury office during the week or to Gate G on May the 14th.
Now here's a team playing against the Vancouver Whitecaps, where 2 players, both captains, once captained the Philadelphia Fury. That's got to be scary in alone.
Crossing into the area, or trying to anyway, was Strenicer. Strenicer played off by Salvamini. It goes over the touchdown, over the touchline. It'll be a throw-in for the Rochester Lancers to the near side. We are still looking for the game's first goal, although both teams have made tremendous overtones. Long throw into the box, headed out of there by Salvamini. Further cleared by Colovis.
It will be very important for Philadelphia to get on the scoreboard in this first half because of the win, and having that advantage would be a nice gesture to go in at halftime and getting 1-goal lead.
Absolutely. Throw-in coming up for the Rochester Lancers. Tuchshaw's had a lot of the play thus far, and it goes off Tuchshaw's head over the touchline. Throw-in for Philadelphia. Again, no score in the game. We have 15 minutes, 10 seconds unofficially to play here in the first half. Bobby Smith with the long ball up the left side to Steve Reed. Blonde hair flying to the breeze, and there is a heck of a breeze blowing here tonight, but it is taken away by the Rochester Lancers. Mepham has it deflected away nicely by Bobby Smith. Rochester had what was the making
looks like a handball.
A 3-on-2 break, and yes, you're right. Bobby Smith has been called for a little subtle handball with his hand down to the right side.
Bobby said, I didn't do it.
14, Bobby Smith.
So we're going to have a free kick coming up here, a direct free kick, and you'll see the wall being set up right in front with O'Brien, Colovis, and
Segota is going to take it, and he's one with a very powerful shot, so you got to be extra careful here.
Here's the shot taken. It goes off of one of the Fury, I believe, or did it go off of Stojanovic?
Now, it looks like the referee's pointing for a corner kick, so it'll be Lancer's corner kick against Philadelphia.
Taking the corner kick will be Val Tukshaw from the far right corner into the box, which has Stojanovic and Segota, Addy Coker, the whole front line, and it's back instead. The shot into the area looking for Coker was taken by Harsani, but it goes over the line, and coming up will be, I believe, a goal kick for Philadelphia.
Goal kick because Dan Salvamini went up in the air and just flicked it over Coker's head, and he also continued out of bounds.
With 13:40 to play in the half, no score in the game. More Soccer 80 in just a moment.
Copier companies have been introducing small copiers with a very interesting claim.
It's just as good as a Xerox.
It's just as good as a Xerox.
Then one day...
this compact copier is very versatile. It even copies on your own letterhead. It's inexpensive, but best of all...
I know. It's just as good as a Xerox.
It is a Xerox.
The Xerox 2600, the compact copier that really is just as good as a Xerox.
Buy or lease. 1980 Chevrolet Impalas, Caprices, Corvettes, Monte Carlos, Monzas, Chevettes, Camaros, Citations, Blazers, Suburbans, Vans, pickups. Hundreds of four-cylinder V6, V8 models. 1980 Chryslers, New Yorkers, Newports, Cordobas, LeBarons, Horizons, Valaris, Champs, Japanese imports, two-doors, hatchbacks, GTs, Jaguar, Triumph, MG. Hundreds of used cars and trucks traded weekly. Reedman, Route 1, Langhorne.
Did we see it?
Man. But maybe just had the wind knocked out of him or whatever, but he appears to be okay.
I'll tell you what he had knocked out of him. Maybe a little bit of concentration. He figured, I got to pull some... I need some sympathy. That's what he's saying.
I don't know about that. I don't think Glavin touched him. Didn't lay a glove on him, Ma.
That's history. Let's look at this one.
Mepham for the Rochester Lancers has it taken away by Steve Reed, but reacquired by Tuckshaw. John Dempsey heading it away from the area, saved by Steve Reed. And wisely knocks it off Tuckshaw as it goes out of off the touchline. Throw in very quickly for the Fury. Here's Franny O'Brien looking for Glavin, but there to make the play is Harshani. Tony Glavin, a couple of 22s, along with Statevsky going head-to-head. This is Harshani up the right side to Stojanovic, taken on by Lynch. Lynch with a good defensive play. And Vossmeyer again coming to the play. Stojanovic is the man shaking up all the play.
Lynch laid a shoulder charge into him. That's allowed only in Scotland.
All right, we'll take a look at it. Here we go.
Let's take a look at this one. I thought it was a good tackle by Andy Lynch, but the referee said no good. Here's some good work by Stojanovic. He gets out of that 2-on-1 situation, and now there's a good shoulder charge, but apparently it didn't strike Stojanovic's shoulder, so it's a foul.
This is Statevsky being tackled from behind by O'Brien. No call as it goes over the line. It'll be a throw-in for Philadelphia.
I think sometimes the Philadelphia Fury is happy to play on grass because players like Franny O'Brien and Lynch and those people, they love sliding tackles, and certainly at the Vet Stadium you can't do that too often because you lose all your skin.
At least 80% of it anyway. Harshani clears it down the other side, and we're getting a whistle and halting play.
It looks like an offsides. Yeah, Andy Lynch appealed for an offsides, and he's got one. Stojanovic was offside, so he'll put it into play, pushing it back to Rigby.
We have 9:45 to play in the first half. Still no score in the game, although both clubs now appeared to have settled into somewhat of a pattern now, where they seem to be burning it out for the first 30 minutes of the match. Vossmeyer being challenged there by Lukic. Now it's Strenicer trying to get away. Here's Stojanovic being taken on by Andy Lynch and taken away by Franny O'Brien. Good defensive work by O'Brien, but it's cleared over the touchline. Throw in for Rochester. Lynch and Stojanovic really mixing it up. Here's Stojanovic, has a little bit of room, try to clear it to the front. Segota now, and Dempsey. Segota still has it, but it's taken away by the Fury. Good defensive play by Andy Lynch. Statevsky brings it back in inside the 35. Franny O'Brien now, along with Glavin, and Glavin clears it down the sideline to Reed.
It's a lot of good pressure put on by the Lancers now. They seem more physical and more, at least stronger on the ball, and they're dominating the last, as you said, 15 minutes.
Strenicer to Lukic. Dempsey playing good defense as he gets away from Segota. We have no score in the game. 8:25 to play first half. More Soccer 80 in just a moment.
The gas guzzler is no longer the American car. It's the American driver. Warming up your car too long wastes gasoline. So do Jackrabbit starts.
Could use a tune-up, sir.
Next thing. If everybody saved 1 gallon of gasoline a week per car, we'd reduce oil imports substantially. That's why Getty Oil wants to see the American gas guzzler become extinct. That way, we'll all get more miles for our money.
When the things you most want in life always seem to be just out of reach, start saving for them at Provident National Bank. Open a savings account at your nearest Provident office.
Rochester has possession of the ball. We have 7:17 to play. First half, unofficially, no score in the game. That is official.
John Nagel Realtors and Rochester Telecom.
Rochester with control. This is Lukic being challenged by Vossmeyer. It seems that Vossmeyer is challenging everybody out there, and this is first start as a member of the Philadelphia Fury. Coming up the right side is Stutevsky. Go ahead, Walt.
Just wondering about Bob Vossmeyer's fitness because he hasn't played in several years, and however, he has been training with the Fury, but certainly match condition fitness is a little different from practice fitness, so we'll see how he hangs on, whether he's capable of going at this pace for 90 minutes.
And that's exactly what Eddie Fermati told me earlier this morning. He said he just wishes that Vossmeyer had more game time. He said there's no question about his skills. He just wished he had some more game condition. Eddie Fermati, George O'Neill to his right, or to his left, to your right as you're watching. Curtis Leeper to Eddie's right. Impressive statistic on the graphics there. It's knocked over the sideline. I believe we'll have a throw-in for the Rochester Lancers. They bring forward Val Tukshaw, who might be trying the long throw-in into the penalty area. Instead, he goes back to Harshani. Harshani lost it into the area, looking for Segota, and headed out of the area and out of danger by Bobby Smith.
Well done, Bobby Smith. He sort of got ball watching, and Segota sneaked behind him, but Bobby was there to read it and knock it out of bounds for a corner kick. But you can see they're attacking with more numbers, the Lancers are, and particularly Harshani, the sweeper. He's pushing up and getting into an attack as a midfielder would do, as a la Beckenbauer, who created that type of a play, coming from behind as a sweeper or the libero in the German style of soccer.
Gene Strenicer with the corner into the area, looking for Stojanovic, headed away by Dempsey, further headed out of there by Kolovas to Kokovic. Kokovic with a little bit of space, being challenged by Lukic. Kokovic with the long ball for Tony Glavin, but it is intercepted by Rochester's Dennis Mepham.
And certainly Dennis Mepham, who's a rookie and a starter here for the first time as a defender, has showed very well. He's done a good number on negating Tony Glavin as much as possible, and he's looking good.
I believe we have Andy Parkinson loosening up across the way for the Philadelphia Fury. I think it's Parkinson. There's definitely a Fury member warming up across the way.
You're right, Howard. It is Andy Parkinson, and I think they're going to move him in probably in the second half at the striker position, which is what he plays.
We got a bit of action coming up here, and the Fury gets a big break there. It was a bad ball was played by, I believe it was by Mepham as he came up from the right side looking for Lukic, and instead he came by. That is Andy Parkinson, the 20-year-old South African striker who possibly will see some action maybe before this half, certainly in the second half. Here's Segota being challenged. Segota with some nice ball work. And John Dempsey clears it out of the area for Steve Reed up the left side. Reed parries it a little bit back to Lynch. Andy Lynch with the left foot. Looking for Vossmeyer. Reacquired, though, by the Rochester Lancers, Dusan Lukic. Lukic to the right side to Stutevsky. Stutevsky inside the 35. Plays it off to the left side. Here's the shot into the box, looking for Coker. Headed and cleared finally by Dempsey to Fran O'Brien.
John Dempsey has done a super job back there sweeping behind Bobby Smith. And that's the combination they're using, Smitty stopping and Dempsey sweeping.
Andy Lynch and Stojanovic making for interesting, strange bedfellows, if you will. Here's Tukshaw. Tukshaw with a little bit of room. Hooks it into the area. Bobby Smith and Coker, although were tied up with Segota. It goes to the far post and cleared out of the area.
Well done, Andy Lynch. A lot of pressure by the Lancers, and the ball was near the touchline, so he decided rather than clearing and saving the ball, he knocked it out of bounds for a corner kick. But there's a purpose for it. Take the air out of the ball, relax, take the pressure off.
Val Tookshaw will take the corner to the far post. It comes over the top. Strenicer into the penalty area to Lukic. Drops it back to Strenicer. Strenicer taken on by Kolovas. Strenicer attacking a little bit more now. Lukic into the area, headed out of there nicely by Bobby Smith. Played back by Harshani. Comes into the area. Stojanovic is taken down, but it appeared that he was taken down. The official calls no penalty. Instead, he calls a corner kick as it was cleared out of there by the Philadelphia Fury. Stojanovic looking for a penalty kick.
There's no foul there, no question about it. The ball is pumped into the box by Tuksa, and Stojanovic wanted to take the ball. As you can see, the ball caroms off his leg, and now he falls.
Yep.
That's called the old act scene, and the referee read it very well.
Here's Stojanovic in the air with Coker, and I believe it went off of Coker's head as it goes over the goal line. We'll have a goal kick coming up for the Fury with 2:25 to play unofficially here in the first half. There is no score.
But a lot of pressure by the Lancers, and they're all over the Fury now, and I think the ball has to come out of the back, maybe back to Bobby Wussmeyer, who can calm the game down a little bit for the Fury, because the Lancers are coming full speed now.
Andy Lynch, who in his first start against Memphis played left midfield, now is playing his customary position at left fullback.
He was a member of the Glasgow Celtic team, who, by the way, didn't do as well as they should have in winning the league.
Here's Steve Reed being challenged by Harshani. Steve Reed takes it outside the box, tried to cross it, but instead it was deflected over there by Harshani over the goal line. Corner kick, Philadelphia. So it'll be Vossmeyer, Bob Vossmeyer from Holland, who'll take the corner kick for the Philadelphia Fury with 1:35 unofficially to play in the half. Dempsey comes forward into the box along with Kokovic, with Glavin, with Reed. Here's the cross and punched over the area and going towards the corner, trying to chase it down and not successful. Was Harshani. He was successful in that. There'll not be another corner kick, but a throw-in.
That's correct. And again, that corner kick was taken by Bobby Wussmeyer, who really put a beautiful ball into the middle and created a lot of pressure.
Long throw-in by Salvamini, headed out of there by Harshani. Taken over by Addy Coker in the Rochester penalty area. Salvamini, I believe, was tripped, and they're going to call a foul against Addy Coker of Rochester.
And that's a good call. Oh, it's the other way. Maybe it was obstruction on Dan Salvamini. Probably that was the call, which might have been correct as well. But I think the pressure there, again, Dan Salvamini with a big throw into the box, but unsuccessful. Flicking by Joe Coker didn't work. Yeah, well, let's have a look at that replay and see what we call obstruction or charging. Coker shields the ball. There's Danny going after the ball. And now, yes, we would call it obstruction.
Here's Stojanovic coming outside the box with 30 seconds to go in the half. Bobby Rigby with a catch. And the quick outlet pass to O'Brien on the counterattack. With 24 seconds to play unofficially in the half, O'Brien loping it up the left side, looking for everybody to settle in near the goal. He has Vossmeyer in the middle of the park. He unfortunately took it behind him, but Vossmeyer catches up to it. Vossmeyer with the shot, and it's deflected by Harshani and cleared out of the area with 5 seconds unofficially to play in the half, and it looks like the first half will go into the record books as a scoreless first half.
But certainly an exciting one. Both teams creating a lot of chances. Both keepers playing very well, and it's an exciting first half. Even though no score, the fans are into it, and they're supporting the beautiful action.
Well, that's the end of the first half. With the score, Philadelphia nothing, Rochester nothing. Our halftime activities coming up right after this. Offensive and defensive players of the game at the conclusion of the telecast, obviously. Offensively, nobody is really taking command. Defensively, you have a whole lot of candidates.
So we'll just flip a coin and give you the winner.
All right. Maybe we'll give it to you. Fury going from our right to our left against the wind, if you will, here in the second half. The Rochester Lancers had the advantage of the wind. It seemed that Rochester had the better of it through most of the first half, particularly, I'd say, from about the 12 to 15-minute mark on against the wind.
And we got a couple changes here. We can see what Bobby Wussmeyer went out to play right wing. He'll probably play as a withdrawn midfielder, but he can also play the wing. Dan Salvamini has moved into midfield. Rowdy Martinovic has moved into Dan's spot at right back. And so these are, and there it is.
Parkinson.
Andy Parkinson has taken the spot for Stevie Reed as a center forward. So that's the changes. 2 substitutes for Fermani.
Glavin with a shot with not too much on it from 35 yards, 30 yards away anyway. And Schwartz with not much of a problem handling it.
It doesn't seem like there are any changes for the Lancers. They'll go with the same 11 as they started. So Fury has substituted twice. Lancers, no substitutions.
Here's Salvamini, American player, looking up ahead for Parkinson. Parkinson, Glavin, O'Brien, Colovis,
Story on
Bosmeyer, running down the rest of the Fury lineup. Martinovich, who's come into the game, Dempsey, Bobby Smith, and Andy Lynch rounding it out. Salvamini with the throw-in, looking for the long throw-in into the box, and headed away from the play was Parkinson, but this is Martinovich trying to run it down at the 35. Andy Lynch and Stoyanovich doing battle. This is Tukshaw taken down from behind by Franny O'Brien, and trying for the save was Lynch, but it went over the touchline. Now Tukshaw.
A very strong midfielder, and primarily in a defensive role at midfield for Ray Klevecka's team. Here we can see Fran O'Brien tracking down Tukshaw and applying that famous sliding tackle that was probably invented in England or Holland, but certainly they're very capable tacklers of the ball, particularly on the grass field.
Salvamini tracks it down at the midfield stripe, moves it forward, looking for O'Brien. It is still in play. O'Brien has it with a little bit of space, looking to set it up, and it is tackled away by Lukic. We'll have a quarter kick, first quarter kick, second half, coming up for the Philadelphia Fury. 42-35 to play unofficially in regulation. Looking for the long ball was Bosmeyer, but it goes over everybody's head and acquired by the Lancers, Harshani. Harshani plays it back to Schwartz, and Glavin, the ever-present Tony Glavin, all over the keeper.
He's all over the field as well. The little Tony just hustles his heart out and puts in an honest 90 minutes, regardless if he's playing a friendly or in practice or playing a serious game as this afternoon.
An unforced error committed by the Lancers, and it's reacquired by the Philadelphia Fury. Andy Parkinson looking ahead, headed forward by Glavin, but reacquired by the Lancers, Jim Polahan. Polahan ahead, it goes to Tukshaw, to Addy Coker. Pushes it forward. Addy Coker in stride, coming to the 35. Missing the tackle was Dempsey. Coker still has it. Again, and a nice play by Martinovich of the Philadelphia Fury.
A great recovery, right? He lost his man. Coker blew by him, and Dempsey had to come in and force a tackle, and then Roddy came by and won the ball, and Coker is still down feeling it. I think it was from the effects of the ball as Roddy cleared it.
Salvamini now. Going one-on-one. Martinovich coming forward, or rather that's Bosmeyer. That is cleared out of the area by Strenicer. This is Colovis. Colovis up the right side to Parkinson. Tries to dump it off of Bosmeyer, but it goes over the touchline. Throw in for Rochester.
And surprisingly enough, now the Lancers going with the Wind have not done any serious attacking. They seem to be more passive than the first half. And Fury are on top going against the Wind.
Well, Rochester started out slowly in the first half and then came on like with a rush in the last 30 minutes of the first half.
Well, we mentioned earlier they're about average age is about 28 on this team, so maybe the old bones need more time to warm up.
I wouldn't know about that. You might.
Oh, I'll tell you what, those guys from New York, you can't trust them.
I think I owe you 6 shots from last time we were together. Our next telecast will be June 25th, as we'll be in Detroit to bring you the Fury against the Detroit Express. We have a foul called on Rochester, and Bosmeyer will take the kick. It'll be an indirect. Bosmeyer, O'Brien right around the ball. The Fury coming forward. Martinovich now comes forward.
And now Peter Johnson, the referee, steps over. I think he's going to step off 10 yards. Or he's talking to the wall. He says, back off. That's only 8. Okay, now they look there, and Johnson's saying, all right, now he's got it.
All right, they're ready to go. Bosmeyer comes to the ball, puts it into the area. Dempsey with the header goes over the top. John Dempsey coming in hard from the left side, looking to head it on the cross by Bosmeyer.
I'll tell you what, we're going to have a fight here, Coach. I'm out of here. I'm going upstairs on that roof again. We got some very hostile fans, and they're very upset at this booth. Look at this.
Well, they are, the fans are looking to try to get something going to the near side. And why does it always happen right in front of the broadcast booth? Because they're trying to get everybody, one fan is trying to get the rest of the fans on this side together to try to stand up and root and scream, and I think he's starting to make his point. Yep. Meanwhile, back on the field.
It'll be a direct free kick. Andy Lynch is going to put it into play. So it's about 45 yards out, and they're going to go up in the air probably to Brian Parkinson.
All right, Andy Lynch into the area looking for Andy Parkinson, and it is headed away from the area and cleared by Tukshaw of the Rochester Lancers. Reacquired momentarily by Vossmeyer, but taken away by Tukshaw once again. Stutevsky now Strenicer. Strenicer up the left side. It goes over the line, and I believe we'll have a throw-in for the Philadelphia Fury across the way. Time remaining in the second half, 39-20 to play. That's unofficial. No score in the game. Ronnie Martinovich, who has just come in here in the second half, the long throw-in, looking for Parkinson, lets it go by him, and Parkinson is called for holding, so we'll get a free kick coming up for Rochester going the other way.
Good call by referee Peter Johnson. He was holding, and Rochester takes over, but how it looks like the pace has slowed down, no question about it, and maybe they're just warming up, but certainly they're not working as hard as they did the first half.
Randy O'Brien in stride, played off the ball nicely by Tukshaw, who has made O'Brien's day a long one thus far. Strenicer now being hemmed in, tackled away by Salvamini, but it goes over the line. It'll be a throw-in for Rochester with 38:40 to play, unofficially in regulation here in the second half. No score in the match. Rochester has gone 3.5 games plus now without a goal. Philadelphia with 3 more goals than Rochester here this season, the most recent of which was Steve Reed's game winner on Wednesday night against Chicago.
Lancers would like to thank the following group.
Long kick is headed away by Bobby Smith and further headed by Columbus with a good piece of work. Andy Parkinson being double-teamed, and it's reacquired, though, by Tony Glavin, and Glavin had his left foot stepped on as he hobbles away.
And I'll tell you what, it was Stutevsky and Glavin that collided on the ball. And let's take a look at this, because Tony is in pain, and he's one not to demonstrate any kind of phony pain. So, oh yes, he caught it right on the ankle, and I think it was basically a block tackle. Both hit the ball at the same time, but Tony is in pain, and I hope everything is okay, because last year he incurred a very serious injury in his knee.
Stutevsky has been hit with a yellow card. We have 38:06 unofficially to play in the second half. No score in the match. More Soccer 80 in just a moment.
The gas guzzler is no longer the American car. It's the American driver. Warming up your car too long wastes gasoline. So do Jackrabbit starts.
Could use a tune-up, sir. Next time.
If everybody saved 1 gallon of gasoline a week per car, we'd reduce oil imports substantially. That's why Getty Oil wants to see the American gas guzzler become extinct. That way, we'll all get more miles for our money.
Professional goalkeeper makes a lot of great saves on the field. You can be a great saver, too, at Provident National Bank. Come on in and open a savings account at your nearest Provident office.
Okay, it takes a whole lot more than one little takedown to put little Tony out of action. We'll have a free kick coming up. Andy Lynch to take it with the left foot. Looking into the area, John Dempsey has come forward from the right side. Here's the kick, and we got a handball, looked to be intentional handball by Stoyanovich, so we'll reset it up again. Andy Lynch this time inside the 35. Don't forget the Fury's home game on Mother's Day next Sunday. Big promotion going on. I'll tell you about that when we get a moment. O'Brien and Lynch around the ball inside the 35. We'll see who takes it now. It's Lynch with the left foot into the box looking for Dempsey. It's headed back by Glavin as it goes over the goal line. On Sunday, next Sunday, Mother's Day, at 2:05, in honor of the Mother's Day, all ladies 18 years of age and over will receive a gift certificate redeemable for 5% of their grocery order at all Thriftway supermarkets in the Delaware Valley. As a bonus, the first 3,000 ladies to receive a carnation, courtesy of Allied Florists.
And it's interesting, I just spotted, Howard, some people down there, and they have a red card and a yellow card, and there's a group of about 10 of them, and every time there's a foul, they point either a red or a yellow card against the Fury, so it's a great thing.
All right, here come the Lancers now. Strenicer up the left side looking for Coker. A couple of the Rochester Lancers are sitting this one out, one of which is Fred Gergerev. And he's going to have to sit out today. Who's the other one? There was one other Lancer who's also sitting out.
Chila. He's out. They both received red cards in the Tampa game, and Freddie Gregorov, a favorite of the Philadelphia area fans. He plays for the Fever in the winter and does this playing for the Rochester Lancers here in the summer.
All right, we'll have a throw-in coming up for Philadelphia. O'Brien drops it back to Lynch. Here's Franny O'Brien up the left side, looking for Parkinson. Ball gets away, last touched by the Rochester Lancers, Dennis Mepham. Throw in for Parkinson now. He gives it over to Clovis, who'll throw it in. Jimmy the Greek looking for the long throw-in for Tony Glavin. Back to Clovis. Clovis up the left side for Salvamini. Harshani and Salvamini looking for it. Glavin comes busting through, but it's the Lancers now. Good forechecking, as it turns out, by Glavin. Salvamini now looking to cross it. It's deflected by Strenicer over the goal line. Corner kick coming up for Philadelphia.
Good effort by both Tony Glavin and Dan Salvamini. They sort of pressured the ball, trapped Harshani, won the ball, and then Danny got himself a corner kick. So it could be a dangerous situation here.
Vossmeyer will take the corner. Here's the corner.
Great corner.
To Dempsey, it's punched out of the area. Goes back into the area, and Strenicer takes control. But we got a foul called against the Fury. Quickly putting into the play is Strenicer. Legging it out up the right side is Tuckshaw. Tuckshaw marked by Salvamini, intercepted by Lynch. Andy Lynch.
For sure, it looks like the Lancers have ran out of steam a little bit because, as I said, they're a bit older than... I don't know about that call, but you called that one, Howard. Tony Glavin's not very happy, but Ivan Stutevsky is very happy because they gave him the ball.
Glavin looked like he was being held on the play, and instead the official called it the other way.
They're allowed one mistake a game.
One, I know. We had 2 or 3. So we'll have a throw-in coming up, or rather we'll have the play put into motion now by Bobby Rigby, looking over the situation. We have to start changing Rigby's name to Cool Hand Luke. He looks like he's never flustered out there.
Very calm, very experienced veteran. He's been around the league. He's played with the big boys and with the Cosmos, with the Aztecs. Had some excellent coaching in his career. So he's been there, and I'm sure that he's still got another many years to go as a very quality goalkeeper.
34-38 to play unofficially in regulation of the second half. No score on the match. Howard David Walt Chisowitz here at Hollander Stadium, Rochester, New York. Stoyanovich plays it off nicely off the outside of his right foot, but Bobby Smith catches up with it and plays it back to Bobby Rigby. On Saturday, May 17th at 7:35, it'll be shin guard night at the Vet as the Fury meets the Atlanta Chiefs. Youngsters 14 and under will get free shin guards, courtesy of Gold Medal Sporting Goods. And our next telecast, June 25th against Detroit. That'll be at 8:30. Throw-in coming up for the Rochester Lancers. Palahan gets it in, looking for Coker, goes over the top, and Clovis catches up with it. Plays it back to John Dempsey, who plays it back to Bobby Rigby. Watch the high bounce, but Riggs plays it well. We'll choose a Lipton Offensive and Defensive Player of the Game at the conclusion of this telecast.
And it looks like things have calmed down here after a very active first 45 minutes. I think what has happened in halftime, the coaches have sorted out the strengths and weaknesses of both teams, and they sort of equalized each other, and now they're filling out new avenues to attack.
Nice play by Martinovich as he tackles it away. Coming up with it to Salvamini to Franny O'Brien with space inside the 35, but he's played off the ball nicely by Stutevsky, who pushes it up the left side to Strenicer. Strenicer at midfield, looking for the left-footed ball now, plays it in the area to Segota, lays it up nicely to Lukic, who has the shot. It goes over the top.
And a great opportunity there because it looked like very dangerous. Segota flicked a good ball, and let's take a look at it. There's a nice ball served at Branko Segota. And let's see where,
Bobby Rigby getting ready to put it back into motion. John Dempsey will take it.
All right, here's the replay again, and here's the ball. Strenicer pumps a beautiful ball to Branko Segota. Bobby Smith can't catch up with Branko. A left-footed shot, and it's just very wide, in fact. Poorly taken by Lukic, but great opportunity.
Big break for the Philadelphia Fury. Out of adversity comes pluses sometimes. Here's Parkinson laying it off nicely to O'Brien. Pretty play by O'Brien as he brings it in the attacking area. Lays it off of Parkinson, who is tripped up, but no foul is called. He ran into the leg, actually, of Mepham.
And there was no foul there, no question about it. He just tripped over the ball and Lepham's leg, so a good call by Peter Johnson, which meant play on.
John Dempsey with the long ball, looking for Tony Glavin. It's headed over the top and taken over by Andy Parkinson, who lays it off to the right side. I believe it was, not quite. It would look like it was saved by Vossmeyer. He disputed the claim, but appears to say, well, I just didn't get there quite in time.
just rolled over the line, and Bobby Vossmeyer's a little upset with him because he could have probably gotten there in time, but maybe a bit misread the pass or a bit lazy getting there.
Addy Coker slaps the hand of Roddy Martinovich as he offered his hand to help him up, but Coker not too pleased with the foul that was charged against Martinovich.
Well, Roddy Martinovich and Bobby Smith certainly did a number Wednesday against Chicago and Philadelphia. They just stopped the best attackers, two top attackers in the league, and Roddy takes very few prisoners. He just is very active in defending, and Coker doesn't like it, and and it looks like Roddy's going to get a yellow.
Don Dempsey and Addy Coker going head-to-head. We're getting a yellow card issued to Martinovich, and the referee did not see the little pushing match going on between Dempsey and Coker. Free kick coming up for the Rochester Lancers. Looks like Segota will take it. The foul is called against Martinovich with 30:55 to play in regulation. No score in the match here at Holiday Stadium, Rochester, New York.
It's getting a bit heated now, and probably one of the...
Martinovich nicely clears it out of the area, reacquired by Strenicer, and deflected out of the air by Andy Parkinson. Strenicer again catches up with it.
The reason for the little bit of heat being demonstrated here is because they're getting a bit tired and frustrated, and there's a little bit of shoving and pushing, a little bit of elbowing, whatever else that comes with it.
Coker and Martinovich are really going tooth and nail at it. Martinovich dumps Coker. He's already been hit with one yellow card. One more, and it's 5 by Roddy. The ball was deflected over the goal line. We'll take another look at it.
Let's take a look at this one. The Roddy comes very aggressively trying to reach for the ball, and did get a piece of the ball, but also got all of Addy Coker. And Roddy's a very nice person off the field. I like him.
He's gutty. He is gutty. Nice work by Jimmy Hoffman handling the slow-mo today. And our pickup, here's the play by Strenicer into the area and headed by Stoyanovich, but to the left of the post.
I believe, no, that was Addy Coker, Howard, and he drove one, and it came off Lynch's shoulder and went out of bounds for another corner kick. So Strenicer will do it again.
Coker, Stoyanovich, Segota, they're all in the penalty area. Tuchel also coming forward, taking the banana ball, heading it over the top, and Rigby makes the save, just got his hand on it.
No, and he didn't. Again, it looked like he parried it over. Let's take a look at this one. It's very close. Bobby was going to put a hand on. There's a good ball to the near post. Segota makes the run, flicks it on, and there it is. And Bobby doesn't touch it. Just missed it. Hit the woodwork over the top. A good break for the Philadelphia Fury.
The corner kick. You understand, I guess you got a deal going on with Riggs. Riggs says, mention my name a lot, and each one we'll see what we can do later on. No payoff intended.
Any deals you can make for yourself, good for you.
Columbus up the right side.
Me, I like it.
Parkinson trying to lay it off to Tony Glavin, but it is reacquired by Rochester as the ball rolls to the goal line where it's acquired by Emmanuel Schwartz. No score in the match, unofficially. 28:45 to play in the second half. We'll have more Soccer 80 in just a moment.
And the New England teammen win 3-0. All right, lads, refreshments are on me.
Lipton iced tea. Here you go, guys. Cheers. 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 Nothing refreshes better than the good taste of Lipton iced tea. Magic. Guess it must be the quality teas they put in these flow-through bags.
That's jolly good. I guess we all like the taste of Lipton.
Of course. Why do you think they call us the Tea-Men?
Copier companies have been introducing small copiers with a very interesting claim.
It's just as good as a Xerox.
It's just as good as a Xerox. Then one day, this compact copier is very versatile. It even copies on your own letterhead. It's inexpensive, but best of all...
I know, it's just as good as a Xerox.
It is a Xerox.
The Xerox 2600, the compact copier that really is just as good as a Xerox.
Bobby Rigby covering it up on the long ball by Harshadi. And Riggs will put it into motion. Don't forget our big encounter with the Tampa Bay Rowdies next Sunday, Mother's Day. All ladies 18 years of age and older will receive a gift certificate redeemable for 5% off your grocery bill at all Thriftway supermarkets in the Delaware Valley. That is Mother's Day next Sunday at Veterans Stadium, the first of 5 consecutive home games at the Vet. If you'd like to get tickets for your group of 20 or more on the selected group nights, call Tony Felice at the Fury office, 215-755-5400. That is also the phone number for every Fury home game at Veterans Stadium in the one game that will be played at Franklin Field this year. Segota, poked away by Clovis. Trying to chase it down as Jim Polahan. There'll be a throw-in for Rochester. Polahan, the captain of the Rochester Lancers, puts it in play to Addy Coker, being shadowed by Martinovich. When Coker gets through with this game today, he will remember Martinovich as number 7 with no doubt about it.
He'll give him a new name called Footsteps.
A final in North America.
Well, they always get footsteps, you know.
Cosmos 2, Dallas nothing.
You got a final score from Giant Stadium in New York and East Rutherford, New Jersey. The Cosmos beat the Dallas Tornado 2-0. Here it is, no score with 26:15 to play in regulation in the second half.
And the Lancers are putting on some pressure here. They've been all over the Fury last 10 minutes, and there's a handball violation, which will be...
Andy Lynch is cited for the handball.
Here, we'll take a look at this replay, and here's what we call a handball. There it is. Oh, jeez. Andy Lynch with his left hand.
Hershani curving the ball in the area, but headed out to Salvamini and cleared by Bobby Smith. Glavin going over the top of Mepham, reacquired by the Lancers. Here's Hershani again from the right side, coming near the top of the area, headed out of there again by Bobby Smith. To Parkinson, being held from behind, and I believe a call has finally been made against Val Tuksha, who was holding Parkinson from behind.
Parkinson has been put into the lineup for the second half. He was out with a minor head concussion and has returned now and hasn't regained his mobility. He's not as active as he was in the first few games, but I guess that layoff didn't help him.
Parkinson with one of the Fury's 3 goals on this year. Arshani clears that out of the area. Parkinson scored his only goal of the season against the Washington Diplomats in the 3-1 loss. Strenicer looking for Stoyanovich, who was taken down by Lynch. The official also says play on.
And it's a good call because really I would have called Stoyanovich for obstructing, and Andy Lynch was not a culprit there at all.
There's Stoyanovich being marked by John Dempsey, crossing it into the area, looking for Segota, trying to wind up with his shot. Segota still has it, takes the shot, now puts it away. Addy Coker had the shot of some great work by Bronco Segota.
Bronco Segota for a youngster. Let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at this. This is a young player from Canada, 19 years old. Much composure. Beats one man, Bobby Smith. Fakes a shot. Fakes another shot. Martinovich goes down. Serves the ball into the middle. A layup for Coker. That's a layup. I could have had that one, Howard.
You could, huh?
Yep.
You sure?
Well, okay. 99 of those.
It was
out
a
of
layup.
100.
It was a layup. It was a chip shot. But Coker a little bit too overzealous.
I'll tell you what happens in that situation, Howard. It's almost difficult to put it over the top as he did. But Bronco, the young Canadian Olympic player, has showed his abilities here, and that last play was a bit of magic.
Vosmeyer looking forward. Stachevsky intercepts, being shadowed by Salvamini, and Salvamini deflects it over the sideline, but it was last touched by Stachevsky. Salvamini looking for the quick throw-in. Instead, he plays it back to Vosmeyer. Vosmeyer hasn't had too much of the play here in the second half. Now lays it up into the area, looking for the far post and Parkinson, but Schwartz comes up big on the play.
Here's Danny Salvamini, the Olympic team player, a 3-time All-American for University of California at Berkeley, and played for the United States team just this past season, and won with a lot of courage. Last year in the Senior Bowl, he damaged his knee to the extent where the doctor said, forget it, your history. But he has come back after 1 year of not playing soccer, has rebuilt his knee, and he's playing very actively.
We get to the point of the game with 23 minutes to go in regulation where everybody is playing a little bit careful, I think. Now, in this kind of a situation, a young team like the Fury against a more veteran team like Rochester, who has the decided advantage?
Well, that's a good question. I got to go with the veterans. You know, they have the experience. They know how to kill time, and under pressure they probably play better. But then certainly you have a lot of young Fury players who also have a lot of experience. So it's still very difficult to predict with 20 minutes on the clock what's going to happen.
Segota now has it for Rochester with a shot, and Rigby right at him.
And there it is. Bronco Segota has shown a lot of powerful shooting this afternoon, and again, a well-taken shot, and he has that power. He can really unload shots, and there you can see him coming full speed and ripping one with his instep, but Bobby Rigby reads it very well and just saves it.
Play in the middle of the field. Addy Coker now with a little bit of space, looking to lay it off, and does. To Lukic, who's trying to track it down, being marked by Andy Lynch. Dusan Lukic with the left foot, puts it up the left side, the right side rather, to Stojanovic looking to cross it. And Kolovas deflects it over the goal line. We'll have a corner kick to our right in the corner with 21:45 to play in regulation, second half. No score in the match.
I'm just looking at that lineup. Here's a corner kick. This could be dangerous if, in fact, it looks like Tuxa is going to take it, and I guarantee he's going to come in with an in-swinger, particularly now with the wind going for the Lancers.
All right, looking for it is Tuxa. He has Stojanovic, he has Segota, he has Coker and Strenicer in the box. Short corner, taken back to Hershani with a left-footed shot. It goes wide of the mark. Wild shot, banana balls from right to left, and was no contest.
Well, I guess I was wrong with that in-swinger. Faked me out again.
1980 season Lancer tickets will be available at the following outlets. All 9
There's no way you can predict what goes on. You got a day where the wind is certainly a major factor in the outcome, and in the passes, the long balls particularly, where the ball going into the wind kind of hangs up there a little bit and maybe destroys your momentum.
The Lancer office, all Ticketron locations,
in the middle of the park. And we're getting a foul called against Rochester.
It looked like Tuxa was charging from behind, and he plowed into the back of number 3, Fran O'Brien. So it's a direct free kick for the Fury, and probably one of the few rare occasions they have penetrated into the attacking third of the Lancers.
Don't forget, on Mother's Day, next Sunday, the Philadelphia Fury will be meeting the Tampa Bay Rowdies. All women 18 years of age and older will receive a gift certificate for 5% off their grocery bill at the Thriftway supermarkets. Be sure and turn out for that one. It should be a beauty. Fury would love to get back at Tampa after they beat them 3-1 down in Tampa the first game of the year. We'll have a throw-in coming up for the Philadelphia Fury. Bob Bossmeyer to throw it in. Looking for Tony Glavin. Takes it down right alongside the goal line. It's deflected over the goal line, and a corner kick coming up for Philadelphia.
And a good situation. Bobby Bossmeyer again will put it into play. He'll come in with an in-swinger. I guarantee you that one.
Here comes John Dempsey coming forward. You just see him coming into your picture with that tape around his left thigh. Bossmeyer will swing it from the right corner. Surprised they're not bringing Bobby Smith forward also. He's also good in the air. Parkinson dummies it over the top. Dempsey with a shot just goes right by the post.
Oh, I'll tell you, what a great effort. And it looked very good from here, but John Dempsey just missed it by inches. Here's the serve, and this time instead of the in-swinger, it is an out-swinger with his right foot. And it's driven here. Tony Glavin misses the ball. Hershani misses, and John Dempsey just by the post. Inches away. A bit unlucky for John Dempsey.
Unofficially, 19 minutes, 10 seconds to play in the second half in regulation. They have no score on the match. The Fury now on the march. Salamini with a long fire shot goes wide of the post. And with a break in the action, no score on the match. We'll have more Soccer 80 in just a moment.
The gas guzzler is no longer the American car. It's the American driver. Warming up your car too long wastes gasoline. So do Jackrabbit starts.
Could use a tune-up, sir. Next time.
If everybody saved 1 gallon of gasoline a week per car, we'd reduce oil imports substantially. That's why Getty Oil wants to see the American gas guzzler become extinct. That way, we'll all get more miles for our money.
When the things you most want in life always seem to be just out of reach, start saving for them at Provident National Bank. Open a savings account at your nearest Provident office.
Philadelphia Fury with a throw-in. Andy Lynch will throw it in at midfield. Franny O'Brien chested down. It's acquired by the Philadelphia Fury's Kolovas, but it is taken away by Branko Segota. Segota comes inside the attacking third. Played off nicely by Kolovas, but reacquired by Segota. Segota, with good persistence, lays it off on the far side. Was looking for Addy Coker, I think. I don't think he meant to take a shot.
Yeah, I think he took his eye off the ball and tried to bend it into the far post, but put it over the top. Mike Stojanovic needs 1 goal to be a Lancers all-time leading scorer with 40. And I'll tell you how it'll be 41, I guess, when he gets the next one. But I think Mike had a long season last year, whereas he just got very few goals, and Branko Segota was their big goal getter last year. And but Ray Klevecker claims that Mike Stoyanovich is still capable of playing and scoring goals, so we'll see how he does this year.
Philadelphia Fury's Andy Parkinson is tripped up by Stutevsky, put right into play very quickly by the Fury, and Schwartz with no problem on the quick outlet to Tukshaw. Tukshaw with space. Lays it off to the middle to Lukic. Lukic down the right side looking for Stoyanovich, goes over his head and taken out of the area by Andy Lynch of the Philadelphia Fury.
And Stoyanovich, one of the dangerous play situation where Andy Lynch did reach up a little high to clear that ball, but the referee says throwing. And it'll probably be a big one because Tukshaw can really throw it into that far post. Or the near post.
Looking over now. Lays it off to Addy Coker outside the penalty area. Addy Coker being shadowed by Martinovic, still has control of the ball. Deflected over the sideline by Martinovic. Quick throw in by Addy Coker. To Stoyanovich, lays it off to Stutevsky. Stutevsky has it taken away momentarily, but he reacquires it outside the edge of the box. Still has control of the ball. Lays it to the middle and deflected out of there by Bobby Smith of the Fury. Nice piece of stuff by Stutevsky, and Lynch plays him off. Roddy Martinovic tried to lay it off, but it is intercepted by Tukshaw. Puts it into the middle and clear out of there by Bobby Smith.
And a lot of pressure by the Lancers here, and Philly has to stabilize themselves and take the air of the ball a little bit because they are under too much pressure.
Colovis lays it off to the middle of Tony Glavin. He's got Franny O'Brien on the right side if he can find him. Lays off the ball nicely to Franny O'Brien, who has Parkinson in the middle. O'Brien into the box, takes the shot. And goal!
They're taking it away, Howard. I don't think they're going to give it. The referee has offsides.
Wait a second. No, they're calling a penalty.
No, offsides. Bob Bossmeyer's called for offsides. Let's take a look at it. Here it is. Yeah, and unlucky again because Philadelphia scored a goal, and then let's see what happens here. There's a ball slipped to Fran O'Brien. Mapen slipped, and a shot taken on goal. It's going into the far post, and...
They said Bossmeyer was
off. I can't
off.
see that angle. Bob Bossmeyer, the guy that touched it last, they claim is offside. We didn't see that angle, so we cannot really actually predict what it was.
A nice ball, though, to set it up by Tony Glavin, who had O'Brien streaking down the right. Now Glavin at the top of the box, brings it into the box. He has the left foot, tries to cross it over, and he fanned on the shot as it goes over the goal line. So we'll have a goal kick coming up for Rochester. Fury gets a bad break. Looked like to have the game's only goal. We still have 14:22 to play in regulation in the second half. No score in the match.
Unlucky for Bob Bossmeyer and the Fury because they come out of an excellent combination play, destroyed the two defenders of the Lancers, but got nothing.
Stoyanovich now being marked by O'Brien as it's deflected over the line, and we'll have a throw-in coming up for the Rochester Lancers. Stoyanovich lays it into the top of the area to Lukic. Parries it over to the left side to Segota, trying to tee it up with a shot. Segota still has control of the ball. He and Bobby Smith going nose to nose, and Smitty wins out. Whistle halts play, and we'll see where the foul has been called. I think it's been called against Segota of Rochester.
Bronco was kicking Bobby from behind, and Bobby almost reacted, but thank God he didn't because he would have caught a red card, but Bronco whacked him a couple times on the ankles.
Dempsey with a long ball to Andy Parkinson. Tries to turn it around and does. Now puts it up the left side, has a little bit of space. Being chased, though, by Mepham. Reacting very quickly. Parkinson still has control of the ball, looking to lay it off. Still has control. Being played by Mepham, the youngster from South Africa, lays it back now to Lynch. Lynch with a left foot. Puts it into the area, looking for Salvamini, but headed out of there. Now the shot by Vossmeyer goes over the top.
And again, a good opportunity. Danny Salvamini and Powelhan challenged the ball, and it was dropped off to Bobby Vossmeyer, who took a full volley, but over the top. And I'll tell you, Howard, it's going to be now a game of mistakes. Whoever's going to miscue a ball or mishead one, the other team's going to capitalize and probably pull this one out.
We have 12:55 unofficially to go in regulation. Colovis is intended for Glavin, but it's required by the Rochester Lancers. Lukic up the right side. In a foot race, Bobby Smith and Bronco Segota. Bobby Smith has the inside track. And last touch by Segota, throw in for the Philadelphia Fury.
Well done, Bobby Smith. He shielded the ball, turned it around, and used Segota's left foot to knock it out of bounds for a throw-in for the Fury.
It's been a heck of a one-on-one confrontation today between Segota and Bobby Smith. Lynch with the throw-in to Tony Glavin. Gets away from Stutevsky. Played back, though. Segota acquires to Lukic. Has Addy Coker on the left side. Lukic lays it off to Segota. Segota with a nice behind-the-back shot. Here's the play by Segota and the save by Rigby.
Just like a magnet, Bobby Rigby going down very well with a lot of confidence, eating that ball up without any difficulty.
I said behind the back shot, I meant behind the back pass. Behind the back shot would be one trick that I'd like to see anybody pull off. Here's Parkinson heading it down to the offensive third. Outside the penalty area, Parkinson still on his feet. Has room to cross and does, but nobody's there. Glavin was the only guy in the penalty box against 4 Rochester Lancer defenders.
And we can see that Bobby Vossmeyer is not as active as he was first half, and probably that main reason, as we talked about in the first half, lack of match fitness, which for obvious reasons he hasn't played for several years, and Coach Fermani is concerned about that, and hopefully in the next 2-3 games he'll reacquire all that's needed to play 90 minutes.
We have played almost 79 minutes here at Holiday Stadium, a little more than 11 minutes to play in regulation. Would seem to be a little bit concerned, Eddie Fermani and George O'Neill, waiting for the right break, the right opportunity. I thought the Fury had one goal, but it was taken away from him on an offsides call. Parkinson now has Glavin on the left, tries to lob it to Tony Glavin in the area, tries to slow it down, played off the ball nicely by Stutevsky, who's been shadowing Glavin all day. Glavin backheels it to the goal line, crosses it in front, but cleared out of the area nicely by Harshani. Kalovis and Tukshaw in a foot race. Here's Martinovich laying it back to John Dempsey. John Dempsey with a long ball to the offensive third, headed forward by Salvamini, but no problem for Emmanuel Schwartz of the Rochester Lancers.
And it looks like the Fury has come out again into the attack. They've regained their composure. They got more strength now again, and they're doing it so it's an even match again.
Lukic for Rochester, being shadowed by Kalovis. Don't forget, we have operators standing by at Veterans Stadium at 215-755-5400 to take your ticket orders for upcoming Fury home games. Tony Glavin along the 35 still manages to keep his composure, and we're getting a foul called against Glavin, but Glavin was slapped from behind by number 21, Val Tukshaw.
And I'll tell you what happened here. Let's take a look at it. Tony Glavin was complaining about Tukshaw going over the ball, and he might have on that play. As you can see, he's coming in with his cleats instead of inside foot block tackle, so it might have been a dangerous situation. Tony was right to complain.
Lynch starts the counterattack to Vossmeyer, lays it off to the right to Fran O'Brien. As everybody pushes forward, O'Brien taken on by Tukshaw. Franny still has control of the ball, lays it back to Salvamini inside the 35. Bob Salvamini had it deflected, I thought, off the hand of Strenicer.
Looked like a handball was a handball, but the referee missed that one. So the Rochester has regained possession.
In the attacking third of Philadelphia, defensive third for Rochester, the Lancers have the ball. Callahan, who has very little to play today, gives it over to Harshani on the right side, being marked by Parkinson. Harshani with a long ball up the right side for Stoyanovich. John Dempsey calls Ricky out to make him play off the ball. No score in the match, unofficially 8:45 to play. More Soccer 80 in just a moment.
This
one's for you, for being on the job and working hard all day. So here's to you. You know it isn't only what you say, it's what you do. This one's for you. For you, for all you do, the king of beers is coming through.
Sleeper.
Yeah, just for you, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Bud.
Salvamini.
Hey, this Bud's for you.
Curtis Leeper is field, replacing Dan Salvamini. The Fury's Tony Glavin trying to leg it out, lays it over to Andy Parkinson, trying to catch up with it, and let go over the goal line by Emmanuel Schwartz, wisely by the goalkeeper of Rochester. Pat Ercole for Rochester is warming up to the near sideline. Looks like he'll be coming into the game in just a bit. He's a Canadian.
In July and August. Enrollment is open to boys.
Shot has it taken away by Grant O'Brien, and get a little bit of a shoving charge here against Tupshaw. Free kick coming up for Philadelphia. Time remaining, 7:35 to play in regulation here in the second half. No score of the match.
There's Pat Ercole warming up. He's a Canadian, and he's a favorite here of the Rochester people, so he's seen a lot of action for the Rochester Lancers last 2 years.
O'Brien swings it to Dempsey, who comes inside the attacking third, lays it into the area, looking for the far post for Parkinson, trying to catch up with it, and does, keeps it alive. A little bit of two-touch volley on his own. Lays it off to Curtis Leeper, who's just come into the match with a left foot, puts it over the top, and a lazy ball goes over the top against the wind here at Holiday Stadium in Rochester.
And that's probably because of Curtis Leeper just getting into the game and not being actually game warm, and consequently a good opportunity to serve the ball, but miscued and put it over the top.
As you can see, 6:51 officially to play in regulation. Bob Vossmeyer giving Emmanuel Schwartz something to think about. And now they are recalling it back. Schwartz will get the goal kick.
And let me read you the statement by General Manager Tom Fleck calling Bob Vossmeyer the surgeon. I don't know he was a doctor.
Words. That's some deep words. If he can perform some little surgery, minor surgery on the offense over here, then it'll be fine. We'll leave him with the name. Long ball by Emmanuel Schwartz, headed forward nicely by Segona. Dempsey chases it down and lays it back to Bobby Rigby. Rigby with 6:23 officially to play in the match. Regulation time, that is. The teams are still scoreless at the end of regulation. We'll have 2 7.5-minute overtime sessions. If the tie is not broken at that point, the NASL shootout will take place. 5 players from each side will go one-on-one with the keeper. Parkinson trying to track it down. Parkinson, who's only come in here in the second half, a lot more fresh, I would say, or fresher than some of his other teammates. Rochester Segota coming to the 35. Lynch deflects it, and Bobby Smith has it deflected away by Segota, but O'Brien acquires it for Philadelphia. Arshani now for Rochester outside the 35, lays it off on the right side, intended for Stoyanovich, but Bobby Smith plays defender par excellence as Rigby gathers it in.
Bobby Smith certainly has done a superb job again in the middle there, stopping for the second game in a row, and certainly had the most difficult scorer for Rochester so far stopped, Bronco Segota.
Coming into the air in the 50-50 ball won by Rochester. Strenicer goes over the sideline. Now throw in for Philadelphia is Ronnie Martinovich.
And I'll tell you one thing, Howard. Adi Coker wants no parts of Ronnie Martinovich. He's got out of the game in the last 20 minutes. He says, I'll take a break now. I'm going to go on a Coke break.
I don't blame him. Pat Ercole is going to come into the game, I believe, for Adi Coker. He has had enough, I think, today. He has known he's been in a match here in the second half, particularly. Coker comes off to the applause of the crowd as Pat Ercole, the Canadian, comes into the match wearing number 15. Only 22 years of age. This is Adi Coker coming to the sidelines. Philadelphia looking for the attack, and it was last touched, I believe, by Glavin, so it'll be a throw-in for the Rochester Lancers. We have 4:55 to play in regulation here in regulation time as the Rochester Lancers moving forward. John Dempsey playing defender as Bobby Smith kicks it away. Kolovis. It's still in the Rochester attacking third as Stoyanovich being played by Andy Lynch. Stoyanovich with a little bit of ball work. I believe Lynch kicked it out. It'll be a throw-in for Stoyanovich of Rochester.
And with 4 minutes on the clock, it'll be interesting to see what the coaches do in substitutions. If, in fact, it goes to a shootout, sometimes you have better players on the bench that can knock that ball in on one-on-one situations in a shootout.
Stutevsky coming into the penalty area, looking for the deflection with Parkinson, and cleared out of there by Bobby Smith. Bobby Smith has played a whale of a game defensively.
No question about it. Defender of the game for the Fury so far.
Stutevsky into the area, headed out of there momentarily and finally cleared again, or partially cleared by Smith, but headed away by Leeper. Reacquired by Strenicer with the shot. Drop over the deflection. Goal! I believe it went off the head of one of the Philadelphia Fury defenders. And I think it might have been Smith.
It might have been Bobby Smith. And Strenicer took let's take a look at it. And the Rochester Lancers fans certainly are up on their feet and screaming, but a bad break for the Fury. And here, let's take a look at it. Here it is. Here's the ball cleared by Curtis Sleeper, and now Strenicer picks it up, sets it up on his right foot, fired on goal, and Bobby Smith's head was there, deflected off his head, and it goes up in the upper 90.
So a goal, the first goal of the game goes to Rochester with 3.5 minutes to play now in regulation, and the Fury's going to have to be scrambling to try to get the equalizer. Throw in for Rochester. That is the first goal of the year for the Rochester Lancers by anybody.
And I'll tell you, a game of breaks, huh?
Yeah.
A shot on goal from a long distance didn't look very dangerous and just deflected off the forehead of Bobby Smith and ended up in the upper 90, and the Fury are down 1-0.
Again, you look back to that goal that was taken away by the Fury, a goal that appeared to be scored by Tony Glavin earlier in this half. That was taken away on an offsides call. Kolovas now up the field to Glavin. It is intercepted by Stutevsky, required by Strenicer, the goal scorer. Here's Curtis Sleeper coming into the area, playing off and being fouled from behind, or played off the ball by Hershani.
That's got to be a yellow card for sure, and Hershani's going to get it.
So the clock stops with 2:31 to play in regulation, 1-0 Rochester. On the Strenicer goal, the first goal scored by any Rochester player this year after 3 games without. Lynch and Stojanovic, a little bit of a push going on. Stojanovic is telling him he wants him to play it in one spot, and Lynch says, I want to play it another spot, and so the referee will come over and make the determination.
Why not come early to your next game and tailgate with your friends? You're assured that the parking lot won't be closed, and it's...
Okay, here's Lynch ready to go with 2:31 to play in regulation. With the long ball, the left foot, hooks it into the area, headed out of there by Rochester, and acquired, I believe, by Segota as he outraces Curtis Sleeper. Segota in a foot race, legs it out, with space, has Stojanovic coming in from the right. Segota into the penalty area, crosses it in front, and cleared out of there nicely by Andy Lynch with 2:13 to play.
And it's a funny, interesting situation because the Lancers got the goal and didn't sit on it. They're coming out again and counter-attacking and hoping to get another one on the board. So they're playing very intelligent soccer. They're not defending their back third. They want to play all the game in the Fury third.
That's next Sunday at 3 against the Vancouver Whitecaps.
Jim Callahan has just sat down and called for time to get something out of his shoe or whatever.
It looks like that, or maybe a cramp in the... Usually at this time of the game, with 88 minutes gone, quite a few players get the cramps, loss of soul or whatever, too much perspiration, and as a result, he's down being attended and checked out by the referee, Peter Johnson.
Now, it was an interesting situation because Ray Klevecka, the coach of Rochester, motioned to Callahan. He was pointing at him. We couldn't see it on camera, but I was watching Klevecka motioning to Callahan to either sit down or do something. I don't know what he wanted him to do. Instead, he has Craig Reynolds loosening up on the sidelines.
That's a good tactical move by a coach.
Following today's game, why not join the Lancer coach and players?
Trying to get a player into a game, sometimes you fake an injury, or maybe it is a serious injury. So Jimmy Callahan sat down, and Peter Johnson came over, checked him out, and looks like Reynolds may be going in, or the trainer's attending to him. We'll see what happens.
Offensive player of the game, no question about it. Gene Strenicer scoring the only goal of the game. Our Lipton offensive player, our Lipton defensive player, Bobby Smith of the Philadelphia Fury, for an outstanding match here today.
That's 4-6-9.
We want to remind you that we do have operators standing by at Veterans Stadium at this very moment, taking your ticket orders for upcoming Fury home games at 215-755-5400. Fury next home game will be next Sunday, Mother's Day, against the Tampa Bay Rowdies. And Bobby Smith, our defensive player of the game, I think he's played sensational today.
Played a great game, and just a bit unfortunate they had to deflect that ball, but what can we do? It's all part of luck or unluck, and unlucky there for Bobby.
All right, Craig Reynolds is coming into the game. Strenicer is our offensive player of the game. Craig Reynolds comes into the game in place of Lukic. Meanwhile, back to the action, though, we have a corner kick coming up at the far corner on the left of your screen. Here's the ball taken and headed out of there by John Dempsey. Fran O'Brien trying to get around Tukshaw, who plays it back to Reynolds, who's just come into the game. We have 1:35 unofficially to play in the match. 1-0 Rochester on the Strenicer goal. Reynolds coming to the top of the box, trying to banana ball the shot, and short-hocked, saved by Bob Rigby.
And I think the substitution, Howard, is probably also a wise one for Ray Klevecka. He's taken Lukic out as more offensive midfielder and has put in Reynolds in there, who primarily concentrates on defense.
Strenicer lays it off on the left side. Trying to make the play. Mepham now reacquired by Curtis Leeper, the Philadelphia Fury. Lays it off to Clovis with 1:04 to play unofficially. 1-0 Rochester. We come to the last minute of the game. Clovis lays it off to the left side to Parkinson. Stops it at the 35. Trying to lay it back to Clovis, but intercepted nicely by Rochester. Here's Franco Segota. Intercepted by Lynch and acquired by Bobby Smith of the Philadelphia Fury. We have 45 seconds unofficially remaining in the match. Fury has time maybe for one more rush. Tony Glavin being played off the ball by Tuksha, who's played a well of a game in his own right.
He has, and that, you talk about strength and power. He's all that, number 21 Tuksha.
Smith clears it over the touchline. We'll have a throw-in with 24 seconds unofficially to play in regulation. The Rochester bench, you would think, would be a lot happier as Ray Klevecka making motions to his defense. And we're getting the official stopping the clock with 15 seconds to play. A little bit of stall tactics going on there by one of the Lancers. He's putting his shoe back on, and we should be able to get things back into motion. The clock at one point was stopped by the official, but the clock on the scoreboard continues to move.
I think the official clock is the referee, and he'll probably blow the whistle when the game is over.
Dempsey clears it over the sideline as the clock shows no time left, but the official time has not been registered. The official has not called the end of the game. We still have some official time.
Injury time, I'm sure, and he has it all in control.
And I think that'll do it. I think that'll do it. That is the end of the match. Final score. The Rochester Lancers beat the Philadelphia Fury by the score of 1-0. We'll be back with a wrap-up right after this message.
If I were to ask each of you to stand and give me at this time a report, a testimony of your conversion experience, what led up to it, how the Spirit of the Lord brought you to an awareness of your need of Christ,